What's poppin', everybody? We are freaking back. Hey yo guys, so today we're reacting to 4 players saving their career and 4 falling off. And if you're wondering what players, NBA players. And in the players that are saving their career, I want to see Carmelo Anthony. And in the 4 NBA players that is falling off is Blake Griffin. I want to see Blake Griffin. I know, but to be honest with you, Blake Griffin is not himself, like his older self. Like heck, do you remember like back in the day, CP3 like was throwing lobs at him, and he catches it and dunks it. And yeah, the explosiveness is gone. So yeah, I'm going to start the recording. Okay, here we go. Like and subscribe, everybody. Tinidor Reacts PH is back with another video. Let's go.
Every year, we've got to come to the tough realization that certain players are beginning or have already fully fallen off, but at the same time, we see players really turning things around. So today, we are going to talk about both those. We are on the grind right now.
Kyle Kuzma? Maybe. But for NBA players that are falling off, I might actually just say Ben Simmons too.
Trust me, you want to be subscribed. Let's aim for 123 likes on today's video, and let's get into this. For today's video, we've got a returning...
Okay, let's go like skip that. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, maybe 42. Okay.
Let's start with a guy really turning his career around, Carmelo Anthony. It's awesome to
Carmelo, the Los Angeles Lakers, Carmelo Anthony. He's amazing. Carmelo. Mellow. Hey yo. To be honest with you, Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James in the same team. I didn't expect that, to be honest with you.
See what he's been able to pull off. He went from being on top of the world.
Oh, Denver Nuggets Carmelo. He was a dog in Denver. Jesus Christ.
Winning a national title, becoming a top pick in the draft, and then eventually a top player in the NBA. But once he entered his 30s, we really started to see things go downhill, and downhill rather quickly. In 2017, at the age of 32, he was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. At this time, there were still pretty high expectations for him.
The start of a downfall.
He was fresh off a year averaging 22 points a game, and he was teaming up with Russell Westbrook and Paul George. It didn't go great for
the trio. Do you remember that? Oof.
Melo and that team as a whole. He went down to 16 points a game, shooting just 40% from the field. Really concerning for his career going forward, given he didn't bring anything to the court outside of scoring the ball. Ahead of the following season, he would sign with the Rockets, and to start the year, it looked easy.
He was waived in the Rockets. I'm sorry for pausing, but he was waived in the Rockets, to be honest.
Even worse. He was now averaging 13 points, shooting 40% from the field, and 32% from three. Him and the Rockets mutually decided to part ways. At this point, there were a lot of concerns about Melo. It was tough to say if he was even going to get another chance, and for a while, it looked like that might not be the case. He would go unsigned that offseason, but finally...
But
get
the
a chance with
Trailblazers
Portland midway through the year on a non-guaranteed 1-year deal. He really seized on that opportunity. He had a reality check and bought into his new role. He would average 15 points, shooting 39% from 3, and would start for the rest of the season. This past year, he again signed with the Blazers, averaging 13 points, shooting 41% from 3. Now, at 37 years old, as a member of the Lakers, he is reaching efficiency that we've never seen in his career, especially from the three-point line. He's averaging 60 points and 4 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field and 45% from 3 on over 6 attempts a game. So far, he's legitimately been one of the most productive catch-and-shoot players in the whole league. I think a lot...
6th man of the year. Okay, I know it's too early, but I want him to win the 6th man of the year, man.
A lot of us saw this as a possibility. Olympic Melo has been brought up a lot, but who would have thought when Melo was basically getting booted off the Rockets that 4 years later at 37 years old, he would be at this point in his career. It's really awesome to see, and if the Lakers can put things together as the season goes on, I have a good feeling Melo's going to be a big part of that. Now, talking about players
Yeah.
falling off is always a
Ah.
controversial topic. It can get a lot
I
of
knew
people
it.
heated, but we need to use some common sense.
Yeah, it's like, bro, I know you're a big fan of Blake Griffin, but what happened to him, bro? Like James Harden and Russell Westbrook, James Harden and Kevin Durant is like is the two players that's like scoring, like, cause Kyrie's not even playing. Blake is kind of alright, but can't.
Guys like LeBron James have made us lose our sense of age when it comes to basketball. For the most part, around 27 years old is a player's prime. We typically see them start to trend in the wrong direction in their early 30s, and
Yeah.
we rarely see players maintain a star or top-level player status in their mid-30s. So it's one thing for a guy like Jason Tatum to have a rough start to the season. It'd be a lot more concerning if he was 33. I think we should kick things off with Blake Griffin, who actually made this video last season, but I think he deserves another appearance, mainly due to just how big of a turnaround he had leaving the Pistons and joining the Brooklyn Nets.
To be honest with you, Detroit won that trade. Even though they only get just a few, it's a buyout. But to be honest with you, Pistons got Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart, and heck, even Killian Hayes, Jeremy Grant. They're even though they're like a bad team, they're young, and they can, if they develop those young players, they would actually be like all stars. And Griffin, and getting rid of Griffin, because Griffin has a big contract, and that's a problem when he was in the Pistons.
After we had made that video, I really didn't expect Blake Griffin to get to this point in his career so quickly. It wasn't that long ago he was throwing down crazy dunks as a part of the Lob City Clippers. He then started to deal with a lot of injuries that took away a lot of his athleticism, but I still had hope as he really started to transition his game into being much less reliant on it, but the injuries just didn't stop. He played 18 games in the 2020 season, averaging 16 points, shooting 35% from the field. Then last year with the Pistons, in the first 20 games of the season, he averaged 12 points, shooting 37% from the field. And to get an idea of how much he had changed as a player, he didn't dunk the ball once. He would get bought out of his massive contract and then signed with the Nets, and overall, it was pretty solid. He averaged an efficient 10 points in the regular season, but then he really turned things up in the playoffs, trying to step up in the absence of both Harden and Kyrie. He was doing everything on the court in that Milwaukee series. He had some really huge performances that helped him push that series to 7 games. Going into this season, it felt like we were going to be getting a lot more of that player and a lot less of the player we saw in the last years in Detroit, especially with him finally having a healthy offseason. But at this point, I'm concerned. In his 13 games to start the year, it just doesn't make sense how bad it's been. He's averaging 6 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 30.
Jesus, look at that. 6 points? I don't know, like, do you remember, like, he scored, like even though in Detroit he scored, like, 12 points, but now he's, like, 6? Damn.
2% from the field and 18% from 3. Almost all his scoring success this season has come in a 2-game stretch where he dropped an efficient 14 points. Outside of that, it's been terrible. Steve Nash was asked about his struggles so far, and he made it very clear that he has no plans of taking him out of the starting lineup. He's on pace for one of the worst scoring seasons we've ever seen. I hope he can turn it around, but given his age and what we've seen from him the last few years, really just outside of that end of the season stretch last season, I'm starting to get concerned that he's going to be able to do that. Next up, I want to mention Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma's had a very interesting career to this point.
Okay.
He was practically an unknown after being selected at the bottom of the first round in the 2017 draft out of Utah. But that wouldn't last long. He would put together one of the best summer league runs we've ever seen. He dominated, eventually leading the Lakers to a summer league championship. That success would carry over to his rookie year. He averaged 16 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field and 37% from 3. Given he was just a rookie, the hype and expectations for him at that point were insane. In his second season, he would go to 19 points a game. The efficiency started to slip, but the Lakers still made it a point of emphasis to keep him out of the Anthony Davis trade that next offseason. In 2020, when the Lakers won the championship,
to be honest with you, thank you, Kyle Kuzma. Even though when he got traded to Washington, I a little bit hate him, but hey, thank you, because he's the one player. Even though it wasn't like really efficient in the finals, but he still helped.
the Kyle Kuzma criticism just started flying in. He wasn't bringing them anything on the defensive end, and his struggles in his newfound role at the bench were very apparent. He went down to 13 points on career low efficiency, but he still managed to get a contract extension that offseason. This past year, he had a little bit of a bounce back. He posted pretty similar box score numbers, but he started to ramp the efficiency back up. But as we know, everything would go wrong for that Lakers team at the end of the season. This summer, he would be sent to the Washington Wizards in that Russell Westbrook trade, a move that might end up being really good for his career going forward. Right now, the Wizards are the top seed in the Eastern Conference, sitting with a record of 10-3, and Kyle Kuzma is a key contributor. He started in all 13 games, receiving career high.
To be honest with you, as a Lakers fan, Washington won that trade, okay? KCP, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, Wesley Johnson, 4 players for Russell Westbrook. Nah.
5 minutes.
Okay, that's
averaging
alright.
nearly 15 points and 9 rebounds, shooting 37% from 3. The consistency still needs a lot of work. It feels like he either has a great game or he goes 1 for 10 from the field. But given what the opinions surrounding him have been for the last few seasons, I definitely think he's turning things around. Then we've got to talk about another player really trending in the wrong direction, and that's Eric Bledsoe.
Oh, I remember love watching Eric Bledsoe in Bucks, even though I hate the Bucks. Okay, I'm like a Laker fan, and so many criticism about the Lakers, and literally in the finals last season I chose the Suns winning it, but hey, I gotta give it to you, Giannis, Greek freak, and Eric. Oh, I actually feel bad. Being traded to New Orleans for Drew Holiday. Bucks won that trade. New Orleans, oof. They lost Lonzo too.
At one point, there was a ton of conversation about him when he was requesting a trade from the Suns after averaging 20 points a game for the past 2 seasons. He would end up going to the Bucks, where the volume took a hit, but that wasn't a surprise. His time in Milwaukee was a tale of 2 seasons, the regular season and the postseason. During the year, he would post solid efficiency and be a key factor of them consistently having one of the top defensive units in the league. But when it came to the postseason, it was clear he just couldn't be counted on. In his 3 postseason runs with the Bucks, he averaged 13 points, shooting 41% from the field and 25% from 3. This past season, he went to the Pelicans. It was a terrible fit. He went down to 12 points on career low efficiency. And now this year, on the Clippers, it's not looking great again. He's averaging 11 points, 4 assists, and 4 rebounds, shooting 40% from the field.
To be honest with you, I thought Eric Bledsoe, Paul George, and Kawhi, even though Kawhi isn't playing because of a Achilles tour, I thought Eric Bledsoe will help Paul George carry the team, but I'm sorry, Eric.
And 25% from 3. He can still bring a team a lot on the defensive end, but I think it's very clear at this point, he is very far removed from being that player we saw in Phoenix not too long ago. The next player I want to mention is a little different than the rest, as he really hasn't been going in the wrong direction the last few seasons, but I still want to talk about him, as we rarely see a player continue to get this much better this late in their career. And that's
Seth Curry.
Okay. Seth has always lived in the shadow of his older brother. He went undrafted in 2013 and really had to fight for all his opportunity. In his first few seasons, he got just a handful of minutes of NBA action. Most of his time was spent in the D League. Then in 2016 with the Kings, at 26 years old, he finally got a decent chance. He averaged 7 points, shooting 45% from 3. Since then, he's just gotten better and better.
Okay, first and foremost, imagine you have a brother that is actually an MVP, the most well-known player in the NBA, and you as like a younger brother. What would you feel about that? Because for me, Seth, there's a little bit jealousy, you know what I'm saying? Because Seth doesn't have a ring. Stephen Curry has 3 rings. And knowing Seth doesn't have one, he played in the Kings, he played, I remember the Kings, the Dallas Mavericks, the Trailblazers, heck, even Philadelphia, like now. And yeah, that's the only teams that I remember him playing. And yeah, to be honest with you, that they might actually have a little bit jealousy. You know what I'm saying?
He went up to 13 points with Dallas the next year, went down to 8 with Portland the year after that, then returned to Dallas, where he went back up to 12. Then he was traded to Philly ahead of last season, where he posted pretty similar numbers during the regular season, but man did he show up in the playoffs when it became very clear Ben Simmons wasn't going to bring them anything. He averaged 19 points, shooting over 50% from the field and from 3.
Wow.
Now this season, at 31 years old, he's having the best year of his career, averaging 15 points, shooting 52% from the field and 47% from 3. Pretty crazy to see the player he's become. He's now much more than just a catch and shoot guy, and honestly, I don't see how you can't root for him. Man, would it be awesome to see him team up with his brother at some point.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Next up,
that would be awesome. Stephen helping his brother get a first ring. Even though Steph is going to be like a backup, you know what I'm saying? The Curry brothers in one team. Oof, that would be a deadly 3-point shooting team.
we got the 3-time Sixth Man of the Year winner, Lou Williams. He's another guy that just seemed to get better and better with age. 3 seasons ago, he won Sixth Man of the Year at 32 years old. 2 seasons ago, he was robbed for his 4th one. And now, it's looking like it's the last season of his career, averaging 6 points, shooting 39% from the field, and 33% from 3. Now, this isn't all too surprising. He's 35 years old. But I think it just goes to show you how fast everything can change when a player reaches this type of age. He's the same age as guys like Kyle Lowry. So I think a lot of the times
Kyle Lowry, so many people said he can easily fail off, but to be honest with you, him in the Miami Heat is amazing. The defense is good. Oof. And the IQ, wow.
undersell the risk that comes with giving players like that $100 million contract. For Lou Williams, I think we've seen this coming for about the past year or so. To start last season, with the Clippers, it was extremely rough, and he eventually got traded to the Hawks at the deadline. He didn't do anything special there, but it was definitely a helpful piece in their playoff run. I expect him to get around 10 to 15 minutes for the rest of the season, but we really need to temper our expectations, and it'll be interesting to see what his role looks like going into the playoff. The last guy turning things around that I want to mention is DeMar DeRozan. I don't know how I can't mention him. I still can't wrap my head around what he is doing this season. In his last year in Toronto, at 28 years old, he was averaging 23 points a game, shooting with okay efficiency. He then got sent to the Spurs in the Kawhi Leonard deal, where he's been the last 3 seasons, basically posting the same numbers.
To be honest with you, so many people forgot about DeMar. They forgot DeMar DeRozan. There's no news about him. There's news, but for trades. And because in the Spurs, he is actually efficient. A little bit efficient.
Year, averaging 22 points, 6 assists and 5 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field, but really not doing anything from the 3-point line. Going to the Bulls ahead of this season, I don't think the expectations were that high. He's 32 years old. Going to a team with even more mouths to feed. I definitely don't think anyone was expecting him to put up career numbers, but somehow that's what he's done to this point in the season. He's averaging 27, 5, and 4, shooting 51% from the field and 37% from 3, taking over 2.5 threes.
Because Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, that's like for me a super team.
He's a game. Sure, he might slow down as the year goes on, but this still has to be one of the coolest storylines we've seen this season. Now, for players falling off, there's a lot more we can mention. You got Kevin Love, Kemba Walker, Goran Dragic. We've also got some players that we need to keep our eyes on, like Russell Westbrook and Kyle Lowry. Guys that are getting up there in age, especially Lowry, and definitely aren't trending in the right direction. This is definitely something we're going to keep paying attention to as the year goes on. But that's the video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Okay, so that's an amazing video. Like and subscribe, that's good. So yeah, that was 4 players saving their career and 4 falling off. So if you like that video, give this video a like and subscribe, and yeah, Thank you for watching. The link of this video is going to be in the description down below. Goodbye, everybody.